Honkers. Morning, YouTube, friends and family. Hey, it's Thursday. Kind of a dome day today. It is rather nasty. I thought before it started pouring rain, which is the forecast, I would take a little walk down to the river and talk about yesterday's vlog. It was not my intention to offend, sicken, or disgust anybody with showing the dead deer that my friend's daughter got. You know, you grow up in Maine, hunting is like part of the culture. I'm not trying to justify or say that it's okay, but I guess you just become sensitized to it. And the thought of a dead deer is not something that is shocking to most people. You know, it does upset a number of people in Maine, certainly, but I would say the preponderance of people have made their peace with hunting. You know, it's one of those cultural norms in Maine, and it's just interesting how a number of people bring their kids up as hunters, and it sort of perpetuates the tradition. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't personally hunt deer. I have shot plenty of guns in the past. You know, for a number of you that are longtime viewers, just contacted me and said, hey, that was kind of gross and I couldn't even watch given the thumbnail. So to you all, I'm sorry that I offended you, but I did promise to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life. And you know, from their perspective, that was the good part of their day, being able to get and tag a deer. And from, you know, some of your perspectives, it was the bad and the ugly. So I can respect all points of view on that for sure. Anyway, I will still continue to bring you my life as it is. Do I censor things? Sometimes I do. Jeez, man. I don't know where to go with. There's no real good justification that I can give for hunting, you know? I mean, anything that I say would probably just sound like perhaps an excuse. So, you know, I totally respect that some people are disgusted and are anti-hunting. I get it, I really do. You know, every life is sacred, and you've got to make decisions in your life on how to treat the lives of other creatures. Some people are numb to that, some people are very sensitive to that. And like I said, I understand that for sure. So if I disgusted any of you, I do apologize. It's very rare that I think I will expose that part of life, but it happens, you know? Yeah. There was a question, I think it was from Pierre Simonson, and Pierre asked, do I eat meat? Pierre, yes, I do eat meat. We don't really buy meat at home though, because Andrea is a vegetarian. So that means that, you know, if you're cooking a meal for the family and one of your family members is a vegetarian, you don't cook meat because you want everybody to be able to eat the meal. So anyway, thanks for coming with me on my day. Let's check out the river. That's a very slippery log. I almost got very wet in this shallow river. I want to save myself the last second though. Ugh. You know, falling back there on the banks of the river reminded me of a rule we had for Milo when he was a toddler. He always used to go around with a toy or something clutched in one hand, and oftentimes things clutched in both hands. He was a very possessive person. He liked his things and he wanted to keep them close. So we had to come up with this rule that he always had to have one free hand in case he fell. It was the one free hand rule. Did you have to have a rule like that when you were growing up or when you had kids? All right, one last bit about hunting and then subject closed. When I had an American experience teacher in high school, he was always fond of challenging people's beliefs. And the debate about hunting as a sport came up one day. His view on this was that if you really wanted to make a sport of trying to kill deer, then you should hide in a tree, wait till a deer comes by, jump down on its back, and slug it, you know? He felt that it's not a sport if you have a firearm. The real sport is taking an animal with your hands and being responsible for that death by your own hand instead of removing yourself with that firearm. So I can sympathize with you that don't appreciate all that blood and gore and stuff. Clearly not paying attention to my fire. It went out, as you can see from that time lapse, but I'm gonna get this thing going because it's cold in here. Alright, I just finished up an energy audit report that is from an audit I did on the 24th of October. I'm glad to be able to get that done and out the door. I have to zip into town and go to do some business banking, to buy some duck food, and to send back my GoPro to be fixed for the second time. You know, I have been doing some GoPro footage after it's been returned, but the screen doesn't work. It didn't work at all. And I waffled on whether or not I should send it back to get repaired again. Might as well send it back. And, you know, I've been thinking a lot today, and I've just been it's been gnawing at me all of the, I don't know if negative is the right word, but all the negative comments about the bloody deer I posted in yesterday's vlog. You know, positive comments really get you high on doing vlogging, but when you get negative comments, it really sort of weighs on you a little bit. So, like I said, just been gnawing away at me today, and kind of, you know, that and the gray weather has just kind of got me down a little bit. So, anyway, I'm sure I'll get over it and move on from here. But you know, would I do it again? Yeah, it's just part of my day, but I guess I just didn't really contemplate quite the negative response that I got, so whatever. But again, sorry if I offended anybody, and I'll try to be more sensitive in the future about things that may cause people distress. Yeah, anyway, see you in the car. Milo and I are heading to an ice cream social at, we're gonna take Mama's car. Right. Actually, let's go in my car. At his high school, and it is to celebrate and honor him as a star athlete, right?
Not necessarily.
As an athlete.
As an athlete, yes.
All right, this is blinding. Getting in the car.
Is it okay if I recap this? Will ran so hard that he passed out and fell on his face and wasn't conscious for a very long time. With his sweatpants on. We got him to the trainer. He was fine. We shared some words with him, some shun words, like hydration, nutrition, and moderation. I don't think he'll handle the moderation very well. But I don't think many people in here really understand what it's like to push your physical and mental limits. But I know that Will does, clearly.
Time for the ice cream party, the ice cream social.
The running, I think, is fun. Friends are probably more fun. Minzy, we're all going to miss you.
Don't even try to say
Lani-Caputo.
So, I remember it was the easiest race of the whole season, right? I don't remember where we were. But I had just gotten over a cold that I had had for a few days, and I couldn't finish the race. I couldn't, my lungs were like, and so, yeah, I dropped out of the race. And the first thing I did was I walked over to the spot where the girls were all hanging out to get some water, because, water. And they were all like, hey, Milo, are you all right? They were like, really concerned about, how I was doing. These people who I'd met, 2-3 weeks before were like, family to me. And I was really grateful for